All right, let's talk about Olivia Wilde's The Invite, but not just the film itself. Let's unpack what this whole project reveals about the state of cinema, creative integrity, and why we're all secretly desperate for movies that make us laugh and cry in the same breath. Okay, first, picture this. You're at Locarno Film Festival, standing in front of what's basically a football field-size screen. Now imagine Olivia Wilde standing there, basically vibrating with adrenaline, calling this the highlight of her career. That's not just excitement, it's defiance. Because here's the kicker. This movie almost didn't get a theatrical release. And that fight? It's not just about ego or vanity projects. It's about a bigger battle happening right now between streaming algorithms and the dying art of collective cinema experiences. Personally, I think Wilde's refusal to let this film get buried on a streaming service is one of the most fascinating creative decisions of the year. Why? Because she's betting on something radical. That people still crave laughing with strangers. That we're not all just content to watch movies curled up on our couches, mute and alone. Now, let's dissect the film's DNA. Wilde calls it a love letter to indie filmmakers like Cassavetes and Nora Ephron. But here's what's really interesting. She didn't just remake a Spanish film, Sentimental. She didn't just reinterpret it through multiple cultural lenses, Swiss German, Korean. That's wild. She turned it into a collaborative playground with Seth Rogen, Penélope Cruz, and Edward Norton. A workshop script? In an era where studio notes often crush originality? That's revolutionary. What this suggests to me is that the real story here isn't the dinner party gone awry plot. It's the process. Because when you let actors and writers co-create, you get something raw, messy, and alive. It's not polished, it's human. And that's why audiences are reacting so strongly. They're starved for authenticity in an industry drowning in sequels and CGI. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. Wilde insists this is a comedy. A comedy, even though the premise revolves around a relationship imploding over dinner. From my perspective, this isn't just tonal whiplash. It's a masterclass in emotional duality. She's tapping into this universal truth. The darkest moments in life are often the ones where you're laughing through tears. Think about it. How many of us use humor to survive heartbreak? To deflect pain? What Wilde's doing here is giving permission to audiences to feel both things at once. And that's why the film resonated so hard. It's not just funny, it's emotionally honest in a way most comedies aren't. A detail I find fascinating, she actually hopes people cry during the movie. That's not marketing strategy. That's vulnerability as artistic philosophy. Let's zoom out. This film's success, making $40 million globally, isn't just luck. It's a referendum on what audiences want. We're tired of content that's optimized for algorithmic consumption. We want risk. We want collaboration. We want directors who treat cinema as an act of communion, not a product. Wilde's fight for theaters, her embrace of chaos in the creative process, her insistence that comedy can coexist with existential dread, it all adds up to something bigger. This raises a deeper question. Are we witnessing a resurgence of the 70s style, auteur cinema? Or is this the last gasp of an old model before streaming swallows everything whole? Personally, I think it's both. Because while The Invite is a win, how many other directors are forced to take the bribe and go straight to streaming? So here's my closing thought. The next time you see a movie that feels messy, that feels like it was made instead of manufactured, pay attention. Because those are the films that remind us why we fell in love with cinema in the first place. And maybe, just maybe, Olivia Wilde's gamble will inspire more creators to fight for their own invite moments. What do you think? Is the future of film in these collaborative, emotionally raw projects? Or are we just nostalgic fools clinging to a dying art form? Let me know in the comments. And if you laughed, cried, or both during The Invite, drop a clapperboard below. Because sometimes, the best way to process life's chaos is to watch it explode on the biggest screen possible.